All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernard Cana. I am the editor photographer of the website known as a Photo Pit. Over to my right is my friend Danny Mazzeo. He is editor, photographer, jack of all trades for his website known as The Threshold. And we are here once again at the Photo Pit live stream talking about Blue Ridge artist announcements. This specific one, I actually labeled numbers on it so I could try to keep them straight as we're doing tonight. Everything from number 36 to 41, that was everything from Thursday that was announced. That was 3 bands. And then everything today on Friday, March the 4th, there was another 3 bands. And we have a lot to talk about because I will forewarn you now. If you thought I was stoked and fanboying about Ginger, you've seen
And
nothing
he
yet.
was. Don't be mistaken. He was.
I was. No, I love Ginger to death. Everyone knows that. I am a huge fan of that band ever since I came across them. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about tonight. All right. So hello to everyone who's now watching. Wow, we got to 29 people. You guys are great. Thank you for coming. Are we ready to do this?
Let's
Danny,
do it,
we
man.
ready to do this?
Let's
All right.
let's jump right in because let's
all right.
let's just go. Let's do
It's
this.
fine. It's fine. All right. So if anyone who's new to the live stream, welcome. The way we normally do this is like usually I'll give an overview of the band. I'll talk a little bit about them. Just from details that I've been able to find or what I may personally know. I let Danny do some talking. We discuss, we move on. So that's pretty much our thing. All right. So here we go. So this was starting on Thursday's artist announcements. Number 36. So we're talking about a rock band from Memphis, Tennessee. A band that's been around a heck of a lot longer than I realized because they formed back in 1996. This is a band that also has a married couple that's involved, and they are also Christian rock. And if you've ever listened to their music, if you listen carefully enough, you can kind of get the vibe that's there. If you've never listened to their music, you would just think they're an awesome rock band because they friggin' are, plain and simple. The band that I'm talking about here tonight, which is number 36, is Skillet. Let me tell you a couple of things about Skillet, just for those who don't know it, like history of Blue Ridge. John loves them to death. He is a huge fan of this band. Last year, there was this whole, what do I want to say? Not this whole attempt to get Jonathan to come out on Skillet stage, and announce them or something. But unfortunately, there was too many other things that John was kept busy with, so we couldn't make that happen.
There's
Danny,
been a
maybe
movement to try to get him to crowd surf as well during
that too.
I would love to see that get revived because the man deserves that moment in my humble, completely biased opinion.
Yes.
He needs that moment to shine.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And I was going to say, for those of you who are watching, yeah, we need to start this so that this year that Jonathan comes out and introduces Skillet on stage. Plain and simple. That's all I'm saying. We got to get that going again. Yeah, it has to happen. All right.
And let me interrupt real quick because we're already getting some great feedback from our viewers. So thank you for that. But hashtag surf the slide. Christina, thank you. I love it. I love it.
I love it. That's great. That is fantastic.
All right, what do you got? Give us the rundown.
All right, so we're gonna go through just the quick discography of Skillet. So, their initial album. I mean, like I said, this surprised me because I didn't realize how many albums they actually do have. Like this kind of blew my mind. Their first album was self-titled in 1996. Then they came out in 1998 with "Hey You, I Love Your Soul." One of my favorite ones then came out in 2000. That was "Invincible." Fantastic album, fantastic single. Alien Youth came out in 2001. 2003 was a title called Collide. 2006 was Comatose. 2009 was Awake. That is also a fantastic album of theirs. 2013 was Rise, another great one. 2016 was Unleashed. 2019 was Victorious. The Unleashed and Victorious, like their newer music now is just so good. These are like, to me, must listen tos. And then coming out apparently this year, and unfortunately I don't have a release date as to when, but sometime this year, 2022, is supposed to be their album Dominion. And I didn't see anything here specifically that called out when that was. But one of the other things I want to call out here real quick, where was this? Monster, I believe if that was the one. You want to know how popular like this band has become? Monster, which is a great single. If you've never listened to it, go find that right away. That's like the one you want to listen to. Was actually a theme song for a WWE pay-per-view. It was also on their official game of WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2010. I mean, it was used for the AHL in one of their sports things. I mean, that song by itself blew up. It also hit Rock Band 2. It was on there. I mean, you're talking about a band right now that just is everywhere in media, and and you know what's the best thing I love about Skillet? They're the nicest people ever.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And
what do you got?
Real quick, just to add to their discography, Dominion is out. It came out in January.
It's coming out. Okay,
yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
As confirmed by David and Shell. So thank you both for keeping us in line. Clearly, we are not experts. We are just fans who are a little bit overly passionate and kind of freaking out because of the names that have been dropped.
Yeah. What else do you got on Skillet for yourself?
Oh, God, man, I don't even know where to begin. So I'm a big fan of Christian rock music. I have no qualms in putting that out there. And the first time I saw them was on the C-Spot Rock Tour, and I had no idea who they were. I went to go see 12 Stones and Pillar, and Skillet was in between the two of them, and they absolutely blew me away. To see a bassist on vocals on top of that was just really cool. You don't always get to see that, considering bassists usually don't get a lot of love in the first place. The whole power couple between John and Corey is just phenomenal. Their stage energy is amazing. To have their strings, can we just talk about having somebody on strings in a rock band rocking out heavier than some of the other bands that could be on stage? Like, I can't say enough good things about Skillet. I've had the opportunity to meet them a few times. Nicest people, incredible musicians, passionate about what they do and who they interact with. Just, yes, I saw that announcement yesterday, and it changed the tone for the entire week for me.
I wholeheartedly agree. And the funny part is, I've been making a big stink about, so many repeat bands that, have kind of been announced already. And this was like the one I just didn't complain about like at all. Just said nothing. I was like, I'm good with this.
I fully attest to that, because I've had to hear some offline gripes, and this one was pure excitement, and I'm really glad, because I would have been coming at you, and I apologize for that.
And that's okay. I would have happily accepted it. So here's some other quick info. So both Comatose and Awake went certified platinum and double platinum. Comatose went platinum. That means they had 1 million record sales on that album. Awake went double platinum, which means 2 million album sales. Rise and Unleash both were certified gold, which means 500,000 sales on each of those. So I mean, you're talking about a band that's been just not even successful. I mean, they're just it's like I always like to see good things happen to good people, and that is, I don't know, it's just Skillet. I mean, my gosh, they're just so good. But of course, hang on a second, I got something here.
Uh-oh.
If I could find it, because I always say, like, where did I put this? Because that's just me. Where did I put this? It's this. And if you all bear with me a second, we're talking about, like, why do I love Skillet so much? I'm going to show you why. I'll show you why. This is why I love Skillet so much. It's intensity.
That is the only word that you can use to describe them.
That picture of John on that I could not have probably captured a better image of him than that. I mean, just fantastic. I so love and Corey is just she's big on the splits and big on just getting into her music, and the intensity though from John, though, like that, I just yeah. I mean, how could I not love this band? From a photographer side, they are so much fun to shoot. Fog, smoke, pyro. Somebody mentioned in the chat, pyro galore. When they can, if you're slick enough, to shoot from the back if like after we get our 3 in the pit, and then usually the venue doesn't care. You can catch them when they're doing the platforms on stage. Oh, I mean, it's just
Well,
I just
and
absolutely love them.
Ledger, all right, Jen Ledger, their drummer, who was not their original drummer, but she definitely helped take their music up to another level. And she's got an incredible voice. She's a great drummer. But I've seen where she gets off the kit and actually just takes the microphone and comes and rocks out front and center with everybody else. And so again, just not too many good things to say and not a single bad thing. Absolutely
No.
huge win to see them come back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got to shoot them when last year, because they were one of the later bands that was performing. So I already, I was thrilled about that. But just I mean, it's Skillet. It's just
Exactly.
you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. All right. So do you want me to tell the story about Skillet? Because I have stories for days tonight with some of these bands. Do you want me to tell the story now while we're talking about Skillet? Okay.
No, I think we should see if we can keep them on with us while we go through the others, because I feel like we've got stories about several of these bands tonight.
I do.
And I want us to be able to cover those stories because they're going to be good.
You want the story now or do you want it later?
I say later.
Later. Fine. All right.
Moving on.
All right. Moving on to our next one. Our next band was kind of a surprise one for me because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about them. They're out of New Orleans. They formed in 1991. They are considered a heavy metal supergroup, meaning, when everyone throws that term around, it's a bunch of people from well-known bands have formed together to perform. And when I saw it, I was kind of like, okay, I'm down with this band, excuse the pun, because the band we're talking about is known as Down. Down is formed out of Phil Anselmo from Pantera, Jimmy Bauer out of the band Crowbar. He also performed in I Hate God and Supergiant Ritual. Pepper Keenan was Corrosion of Conformity, and Kirk Weinstein was also a part of Crowbar. At the time, bassist Pat Bruders was out of a band called Goat Whore. So you're talking about, a real super band of group of people. And I find this interesting only because isn't Crowbar going to be playing?
Yep.
Right.
Which I thought was really interesting. So
yeah,
it's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, if they're playing same day, then that works out. I hope they're not playing same day on same times. That might be a little awkward. Just saying. So, so here it is, a super group, of people together. We're gonna, perform at Blue Ridge. I'm like, all right, I get, with Phil. I mean, I think it's Phil. It's going to be intensity. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be, and especially since last year they couldn't do the vulgar. Well, what was it listed as?
Phil Anselmo and the Illegals.
Yeah, no. What was the special thing they were doing all Pantera songs?
Vulgar Display of Power.
And Power, right? Well, Vulgar Display of Pantera. So the fact that they couldn't do that last year was like, this is a nice, a nice swap to still be able to get Phil here.
That's right.
For that. So, let me see what we're talking about. So albums, not many. They had NOLA in 95. Then they had Down 2, A Busty in Your Hedgerow in 2002, and then Down 3, Over Under in 2007, and that was it. They released 2 EPs, Down 4 Part 1 in 2012, Down 4 Part 2 in 2014, but outside, and then they had a 2010 live album called Diary of a Mad Band. But that's pretty much it. But here's the funny part. I mean, I don't want to say funny, but it is kind of funny. So all 3 of their albums, the studio albums, all charted on the Billboard 200. Peaked at 57, 44, and the last one, 2007, peaked at 26. Let me tell you this: for a heavy metal band, if you're not Metallica, let's be real, right? If you're not Metallica, to chart so high is a really friggin' big deal, because it's all based on record sales. So Down has a real, to me, looking at those numbers on charts, they have a huge fan following enough to say, yeah, this is big. I'm like, okay, guys, I'll admit I have not heard any of the music yet, but I am looking forward to seeing them play at Blue Ridge. So Do you know them more than I do?
I do.
Okay,
I will
good.
say that they are an Ozfest alum, which is, you're never going to go wrong there. If it wasn't Ozfest, it was some of their, their spin-offs during the course of the Ozfest eras. So I remember seeing them on side stage and being blown away because it's freaking Phil. So, there's, I don't know what you're going to say about that, but the surprise about their few albums that are out is not overly surprising to me because it is a super band, right? It's this super group pulled of a lot of heavy, influential artists, and you can hear the roots of Corrosion, of Pantera, obviously. I mean, you hear all of these roots going into their music, and they are a fun band. I'm really excited that they made the list this year, especially knowing that they don't do a whole lot of touring. They don't do a whole lot of performances. So maybe they've got some new music in the works, which would be awesome. There's a lot of comments here about wanting them to play some Pantera, and I'm hopeful. God,
I'm sure we'll hear something. I'm sure we'll hear something.
I think the intro to Walk Alone will borderline start a riot with 30,000 people of epic energy.
Hopefully it's not a riot, Yeah,
I think you get what I'm saying. Don't get literal.
Yeah, I do.
Bernard.
Sorry.
Jeez.
It's okay.
Friday night of the week, man. Can we talk
music? So good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good addition. It sticks back to the heavy metal genre that, Blue Ridge is promising that we're going to have these genres of things going on, and they just fit right in there. But then the last announcement for Thursday kind of jumped back into, I feel, the very Warped Tour genre in a sense, right? That feel and that vibe. So this band, formed in 2009. Now this band's kind of what they listed like for where they came from. They currently reside in Grand Rapids, Michigan. At least that's listing from what they're saying. I'm guessing the band lives there. But originally they came out of where? Orlando, Florida. Just saying. So I could not let that go.
So between Michigan and Florida, you're going to meet in the middle, and they'll be in Virginia.
Let's see. Currently signed on Sumerian Records. They have 6 full-length albums that are out. They have apparently also an acoustic EP, which I've never heard, but that must be, to me, that would be interesting to listen to for this particular band. They are definitely, to me, in the alt rock, format for this band. I will say I've recently have photographed them and seen them, and I say recent within the past, that's 3 years. When they played another festival, it was the first time seeing them live, and I absolutely love them. And they are so energetic on stage. They are passionate. They are, I think, like, to me, it's like if you like that style of music, like the Falling in Reverse type style, you'll love this band. And the band that I'm referring to is Sleeping with Sirens. And Aiden's hint that he had on the Fan Zone, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Sorry, no offense. Let's talk about their discography real quick. So 2010 was their debut album that came out. It was called With Ears to See and Eyes to Hear. 2011 was Let's Cheer to This. 2013 was Feel. 2015 was Madness. 2017 was Gossip. And in 2019, How It Feels to Be Lost. Now, I kind of noticed something interesting here, that their cycle seems to be about every 2 years or so. So do you think we might have new music from them when they come to Blue Ridge?
I hope so.
I wonder. Any case, I like them a lot. I think it's great. I was excited to see this one. What about you?
I'm very excited. This is definitely a band that I'm looking forward to. I have really picked up some momentum on enjoying their discography, particularly over the last couple of years. So I'm super hyped about them. Going back to your comment about they have an acoustic EP, I think you said it was. If I saw the Instagram story correctly, this is one of the confirmed acoustic sets that will be occurring at Blue Ridge. And so, I think it's a good time to just take a moment and share that, Blue Ridge is doing not just 171 bands over these 4 days, right? This is they have a whole lot of different experiences, and these acoustic performances are certainly one of them. And Sleeping with Sirens was added as one of the acoustic sets as well. So they'll have their set on the stage, then they'll be doing an acoustic set either in the VIP tent or that Rockstar package. I'm not 100% sure how that's working. I just saw that this was going to be a confirmed acoustic set, and I thought that in and of itself was fantastic.
I'm double checking that. Yep, Sleeping with Sirens plus acoustic set. You are correct. You're absolutely correct. So yeah.
You look so disappointed. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I'm not disappointed by that at all. I think it's great. Look, if I get to come to Blue Ridge's media, I want to shoot some of those acoustic sets. Why? Because acoustic sets are awesome, number one. And number two, because they're just special, in their own way. The crowd's always into it. You get to hear a song that you normally don't hear unplugged in that sense. I mean, yeah, I love acoustics. I absolutely love acoustics. So I'm perfectly okay with this. No disappointment in my eyes at all. Don't judge me like that.
I thought that's why we're doing these live streams, was so we can judge each other and let others judge us, because clearly we are in the hot seat here.
I think it's letting others judge us. That's what it comes down to.
So it is.
That's what it comes down to.
That's Thursday. I thought Thursday was swinging. These announcements were just freaking fire.
No, it was. I mean, and everyone knows, based on the last ones we talked about 2 days ago on Wednesday, I wasn't as excited about some of those announcements that came out. And I will say Thursday and today absolutely said, yeah, this is great stuff. We need more like this. I know I'm not going to always get more like these, but we need more like these. You need, to me, like just those alone on Thursday were ones that were telling people, you don't think we have it what it takes. That's what I said in when I was sharing it out. I was like, I think Blue Ridge watched my video and felt like I threw down a gauntlet, and suddenly all these 6 announcements came out. And I was like, I'll shut up now and go stay in my corner. Thank you very much.
I'm going to show you some of my cards. I'm not going to show you.
Yeah.
Show you some of my cards.
I was like, I'll shut up now. Christina says I should give Aiden a break for his hints that he dropped on Sleeping with Sirens. So we love you, Aiden. I'm just poking fun.
All you mods in the fan zone, we love you. You guys are doing an awesome job. And I think the fan engagement of trying to guess what these hints are that alone is just fun.
Yeah, except for the last one tonight, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so let's get to our Friday announcements for today.
Let's do this.
If you couldn't figure out about Friday's morning announcement, I was super stoked about this.
Can't imagine why.
Holy bleepity bleep bleep. And the funny part is that they were repeat return artists. I missed them last year. I don't remember why I did, but I did. The only thing I could think of off the top of my head is that there was a conflict, and I probably recently had shot them, because I've shot them many times before. There must have been a conflict, and I must have looked and said, if I have to choose this one or this other one, and I've done this band numerous times, I'll go do the other one. And then I saw some of the videos, and I was like, that was dumb. I should have went with them. But in any case, so we're talking about a rock band out of Atlanta, Georgia, formed back in 1994. They have been so well known forever. Honestly, if you're in the festival family type vibe, if you are someone who attends concerts pretty frequently, more than likely, I'm guessing, unless you just don't listen to rock, you've seen this band at least one time in your lifetime, and probably at least have the minimum heard a song from them, if anything at all. And by far, I will tell you this, they are like, out of my favorite band list, this band is the one that I will never miss unless, there's something that I just can't overcome to go see them at a show. Plain and simple. That band is Sevendust, because, oh my God, Sevendust is just amazing. It's their energy, it's their vibe, it's the music. I mean, I can't even just tell you. But let me go through their discography real quick. And I will say quick, and it's not going to be quick because it's massive. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 albums, studio albums so far. 1997 was their debut, their self-titled album known as Sevendust. And even just if anyone's not heard the song Black, just go stream that now and you will immediately understand the Sevendust vibe and immediately understand why they became as popular as they did, because rock music in the 90s did not sound like them.
No.
Because they really did start something that was unique from every other rock band that's out there. And the funny part is, like, I say they're listed as rock, but I really call them metal more than rock. But I don't know, those lines kind of blend with them sometimes with their music, depending on what you're listening to. In any case, Home came out in 1999, Animosity in 2001. I'm going to talk about that album in a second. Seasons in 2003, Next in 2005, Alpha in 2007. Now, if you want to ever hear probably like the hardest core of Sevendust you'll ever listen to, Alpha's the album you need to listen to, because that was just a complete left field change for a lot of their style of music. It was heavy. Like, they don't play singles off of Alpha like at shows more than like other albums that they do, but like that was like really heavy.
Can you I know you're cheating, this isn't off of memory, so I'm going to hopefully determine, we're going to see how well you know. Was Alpha when Sonny was with them? Because there was a few
albums.
I
want to say yes. I want to say yes, but I'm going to confirm that in a second.
Changed the vibe of what they had.
Yep.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah, he was there then. Yeah, John had stepped away temporarily from the band and then came back. Oh, wait. I want to say it was John. No, it was John.
Okay.
Well, hang on a second. 2007.
Because I want to say that was when Clint left.
No, it was Clint. No, it was Clint because John took over as lead. Because John does rhythm. And then when Clint left, Sonny came in to take over rhythm. John took over as lead. And then when Clint came back, they swapped again. So yeah, you're right. It was Clint.
This is a band I'm very clearly passionate about as well. So
yeah,
continue with the life lessons here, because this
life lessons here, right? So in 2008 was Chapter 7, Hope and Sorrow. 2010, Cold Day Memory. That's another album where they got a little heavier than most. Blackout the Sun in 2013. That was another one. One of my favorite albums, Time Travelers and Bonfires in 2014.
Amazing.
That's acoustic.
That is a chilling album.
Mm-hmm. That's a fantastic album. It's a acoustic of songs that they've done with new tracks on as well. It's something so special. Kill the Flaw 2015. It's a great album. Now one of my favorites, honestly, besides some of the older stuff, was for newer music. All I See Is War in 2018. There's not a bad track on that album.
At all.
And then Blood and Stone in 2020. That was their most recent one. And it's just, I mean, and then in here somewhere in there too, which they don't even list, is their double album that they did. That was an acoustic show that they recorded in, I want to say it was at the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia.
I believe so.
That they did a show that had, basically it was like a double live album. Let me see if I can find that. Is it listed here in this one? Yeah, it was a South Side Double Wide that came out in 2004. Oh no, that was the acoustic one. I don't know if that's oh no, that was the one I'm talking about. All right, yeah, that was the one, the acoustic one. I mean, and that was just fantastic. That was just fantastic, that album. Just some quick interesting notes about this, that Sevendust, like a lot of people, like you look at them like they're not the type of band that you think, like no one ever thinks like Sevendust will ever fill an arena, right? Like everyone always looks like they're a rock band for smaller crowds. Did you see the photo that went along with the album announcement from last year's festival? Like, holy crap. The amount of people that came to see.
Can we go back to their discography for just a second? So
absolutely.
I mean, these are their albums, but every one of them is engaged in other bands and projects constantly.
Yes.
But my favorite by far, and I would say that most everybody's probably was when Lejean's vocal range was highlighted with the Straight Up tribute to Lynn Straight with Angel's Son. Now, that song obviously made it to a record later after the fact, but I think that showed that this band is much more dynamic than anybody is expecting. And
Yeah.
from there, you've had all of these side projects and they interweave and they always come back to the family that is Sevendust.
Yeah. And that
Sure.
album, by the way, because we'll talk about that for a second. That album that it appears on is Animosity, which is their third studio album, which right now is celebrating their 20th anniversary. And it will be played in its entirety at Blue Ridge.
I cannot tell you how excited I am about that.
And that actually, I will admit this. And I'm just like, I want to make sure I read that correctly because I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hang on a second. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe I did. Yeah, no, there it is. It says Sevendust performing Animosity in their full and their greatest hits. So I want you to keep this in mind for a second. If that is true, based on what the artist announcement reads, that means they are getting a huge bleep set at Blue Ridge because
And
Animosity
I
itself is
cannot tell you
55
how
minutes long.
excited I am about that. Like I was
Right?
excited about Skillet. I've been excited about a lot of these other bands that have been announced. I have been diehard Sevendust since 1997. My old man won their album off of a radio contest. We had never even, we didn't know who they were, but we got it in front to back, and that is still in both of our rotation. My old man is now in Florida, so you've got that going for you too, Bernard. Congratulations. But I can't say enough good things about Sevendust. If you can't tell, I've seen them more times than I could count. I've met them, I don't know how many times, and every time, humility, respect, just pure, genuine kindness. And this is a band, no matter the size of the venue, the crowd, whatever, they are just happy to be on stage. They are happy to engage with the fans, and they are just happy to be alive. And you can't say that about a whole lot of bands. I have not seen them with a bad night, and I'm sure they've had them, but I got nothing, man. When I say that I've been fanboying about these guys, like I've been bouncing off my walls all day.
Oh, I tell you, yeah, and it's like it kind of threw me for a loop, but I had to go back and look at that announcement just now, just to make sure I actually read what I thought I read. I mean, because
did you read the whole announcement? Because it's more than just Animosity and greatest hits.
Well, I mean, I just kind of look at that though, and I'm like,
but they're also doing an acoustic set.
They are? Did I miss that? I don't see that listed here.
Read these announcements, man.
I am reading. I'm looking right at it. Does not list anything about the acoustic.
I was on Instagram, so unless somebody screwed that one up, and God, I hope
I don't know.
not.
I need someone to confirm that from Blue Ridge.
I'm trying to pull that up now because I about lost my mind on that.
Yeah, where's Amanda when I need her? Because you know what, I thought maybe I did see that before, but it doesn't on the Facebook announcement. It doesn't say that. But here's the thing. So normally, and I'll be honest, normally when Sevendust is given festival spots, they're given like a 30-minute time limit to play and done. And I will tell you, every time I've been at a festival where Sevendust is there, it is a crowd and a half. Why they're only giving, most festivals give them 30 minutes, I have no idea. Because to me, Sevendust is a band that was built for a festival crowd. Seriously, they're built for festivals. They're just
99,
energy.
they crushed it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at Instagram, so just take it for what it is.
Instagram
In addition to a full band electric set, we are excited to have Sevendust as of the many private acoustic sets this year for our VIP and Rockstar ticket holders.
Hang on. Oh, I see it here. Yeah, it's hiding. I found it. You know what they did? Normally with the acoustic, they put it up in the parentheses next to the band's name. But
there's just so much to say about these guys.
Yeah, it's hiding there. But yeah, acoustic Sevendust too. Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I don't care who's playing. I'd rather be there.
Yes.
Any case. All right. So
now, I'm gonna say one more thing about this announcement, and then I think we could go on. And this isn't anything to do with Sevendust, other than it was tied to the Sevendust announcement. And again, I don't know if this was on the Facebook one or just Instagram, whatever. There was a Ginger update on this because there's a lot of questions going on. Ginger, God bless them, are focusing on their home. For those that don't know, Ginger is slated to be playing Blue Ridge. Their home is Ukraine. obviously more than a little bit of tension going on there right now. Ginger is still confirmed for Blue Ridge. So even though everything that's going on, they are still going to be here, which I'm absolutely ecstatic about. But I think it's also important to recognize for them to step back and prioritize what really comes first, which is home, which is family. My total respect to them, continued prayers their way, for them, their families, all those around them. But I did want to make sure that we addressed a lot of that question that has been coming up, because clearly Blue Ridge is seeing that question. They're hearing the fans' comments, and they wanted to make sure that that was addressed.
Yeah, and also, if you hadn't seen, I had put up a post in the fan zone today regarding Ginger selling a shirt to help support the Ukraine. If you really want to go support them and their families and whatnot to help them, go buy that shirt. It's $20. It's a beautiful looking shirt in the Ukrainian colors. You know, I just go do that. I may pick one up for myself too because it's Ginger. So. All right, let's move on. By the way, I have a story about Sevendust too I have to share, so we'll do that after we go through these last two. All right, next one up. American Another rock band. This one, I'll say this one, like Courtney, because I saw she's on. Hello, Courtney. Had told me about, like, there'll probably be a Blue Ridge from my guest, and this was like 2 weeks ago. She had this nailed. So 1998 band out of Irvine, California. You know, they're definitely rock. You know, hard music, you know, the standard rock stuff I think you'd expect to see. Good vibe, good energy, you know, want to keep you in the moment, this type of band this is. I've known them for a while. I've gotten to see them at least once. You know, I like their stuff. Like I say I love their stuff. Maybe not, but I do like their stuff. The band that we're talking about, I think most people will be excited about because as far as I know, they have not played a Blue Ridge, right? Correct me if I'm wrong with this one.
As I know.
Right? And that band is Thrice. So Thrice discography is also out there too. Like for, you know, they have a lot of content out there since they've been around. Their first album came out in 2000 with Identity Crisis. Then they had 2002 was Illusion of Safety. The Artist in the Ambulance was in 2003. I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Vihishu, we'll go with that, was 2005. And then they had the Alchemy Index, and they separated this into 2 separate volumes each year. Volumes 1 and 2 was 2007. Volume 3 and 4 was 2008. Then they had Beggars in 2009, Major Minor in 2011. Then they took a break, in a sense, for a gap between before they released their next album, because their next one wasn't until then 2016. So there's about a 4-year gap there. To Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere. That was his 2016 album. Palms in 2018. And just last year, they released Horizons East. And that was getting, I can tell you this from the publicity side, that album was getting pushed hard, getting pushed like really hard, and got very great rave reviews about it too. I haven't listened to it, unfortunately, so I can't speak to it. I like the addition. I think they're going to be a great fun time at Blue Ridge. I expect the fans will love them. But that's the most I have from them. I think I need to listen to more of their music. Because like I said, I think I liked what I had heard when I saw them live, but I don't know if I'd say I love what I heard. So I think I got to give them another chance. How well do you know them?
Probably about the same as you. And I know Amanda is watching, so forgive me. I look at Thrice very much like I experienced Bad Flower. And what I mean by that is I need to be in the right mindset to be listening to them. And it's some of their songs are a little bit slower to start. And it wasn't until I really started to listen to Thrice that I found a much deeper appreciation for them. And that's exactly how I fell in with Bad Flower as well. So even though they're not much alike, for me, the listening experience and where I find myself to listen to them are very similar. So this is a band I have not seen before, though it's definitely one that I would like to at least catch some of their set because of where I am in my headspace when I listen to them. And I think it would definitely be an experience for me for that.
Fair enough. All right. That sounds good. Megan recommends to say, listen to Black Honey. I'll listen to
Yes.
Thrice. Okay. And Amanda says, don't make her yell at you now.
She followed that up with a redemption. Okay, so I'm taking it. I'm surprised she's not trying to hop onto the call so that she could yell at us directly. Amanda, thank you.
It's all good. It's all good. I won't force her. All right, last one. So this is the last announcement for today on Friday. Heavy metal band formed in 2017. I kind of, there's a part of me that kind of wants to call them a super group because a number of the members were all parts of other groups at one point in time before they formed as Bad Wolves. I don't know, but it's not mentioned that way. But you know, to me, it's like that's how I remember. I kind of look at them when I see them. They blew up, literally blew up the airwaves with their cover version of Cranberries' Zombie. I mean, that thing just put them like over every mainstream media, radio, streaming, video, whatever you could think of. When you talk about a single that will make or break a band, that single broke them out so hard, it was ridiculous. And I don't think anyone had ever heard any other song by them at that time, except for that song. And I was like, I know that's just not them. There's got to be more to them than that. And there is, and it was really good. The band, right, that we're talking about is Bad Wolves. So let me go through their very small discography that they have because it is small. In 2019, they had the album Disobey. 2018 was the album Disobey. 2019 was Nation as an abbreviation. So N period, A period, T period, I period, O-N period, you know, all in between. And then Dear Monsters in 2021. Now, I know a lot of people are very hit or miss on them right now because original lead singer Tommy Vex has left the band. I'm not even going to go into the reason as to why. I don't think we even need to talk about it because it gets into the political realm and I don't even want to discuss that.
That's not what this is about. That's right.
Nope, not what this is about. He left. And then Daniel Laskowitz, also known as DL to most, who was a producer, and correct me if I'm, didn't we just talk about, wasn't he part of the Acacia Strain, right? Am I wrong here? I know he was with another band.
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought that's where he was with before. Yeah, former guitarist of the Acacia Strain. So DL now is the lead vocalist. And I know there's a lot of people who are hesitant about it because, you know, he wasn't a former singer, but DL's done a lot of producing. He did a lot of record writing. He helped, if I remember correctly. Yeah, All That Remains, you know, he did writing for them. He knows music, that's for sure. And what little I've heard of him singing for Bad Wolves, I liked what I've heard so far. So to me, I like this pick. I like the fact that they're going to give this band a chance to get them out because I think people were fearing with them that once Tommy, because you've seen it happen, a main member leaves a band and then suddenly the band has no traction and they're done. What we just talked about that with Saving Abel, right?
Yes.
With Jared Weeks, once he left after that third album, to me, they went nowhere. And then, you know, it was like that whole vibe was gone. And I think a lot of people fear that's what's happening with Bad Wolves now. And I say, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think the vibe will be different, but I just don't know if it's going to be different enough to make people not love this band anymore. Like personally, I still love them. That's my opinion. So I'm excited for this one. What do you got?
I'm excited for them too. I know that it's definitely a different vibe without Vexed, which is fine. I think musically they continue to evolve, which is really cool to see. I would be curious to see how DL does with their older stuff because it is, you know, it definitely is a different vibe. But I'm excited. These guys are hot right now. They are, you know, they've proven that they are not just that band that plays that really cool Cranberry song. Yeah. They are, you know, and unfortunately, when you have a band that becomes so popular because of a cover, that's what happens a lot of times, you know. And so to me, they've proven themselves as a group in that capacity, and I do think that they are carrying that momentum and that energy. And I'm excited to see what they can bring to Blue Ridge. Just it's a fun band. They have really good stuff. I'm a big fan of their bass riffs. I'm pumped to have seen that. I think that was a great ad. I think it was a great icing on the cake from, our last 2 days of who are we going to be covering on our live stream. I was afraid that the last one was going to end up falling a little flat on us, and like, how do we do this? And so I'm really glad that we had another awesome name to be able to bring to the table.
Yeah, I agree with that. Megan pointed out that the new videos of the new singers have millions of views. I think they'll be okay. I haven't personally listened. I'm not a huge fan, but new stuff added to my playlist. Yeah, it's like I've seen the one like they recently played in Anaheim, California at House of Blues on YouTube. There's a video of that performing Cranberries' Zombie. I mean, he's kind of letting some of the fans sing it part of the time, but just from what little I heard, I'm okay. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine. I photographed them at another festival, and like their energy on stage is just, it's killer. I mean, I think they're going to be great at Blue Ridge. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. So that's all our announcements with bands. So we'll see if anything comes out tomorrow, Sunday. We'll talk about that. So I do have, and I think I got too excited talking about Sevendust that I forgot. I forgot something. Hang on a second here. We talk about Sevendust again for 1 minute. One of the other reasons why I love these guys so much.
Don't want to just talk about them for 1 more minute, Bernard. I could spend the rest of the night talking about
I know.
them.
I know.
And Megan is kindly reminding you that you have a Skillet story to share too. God,
I do. Thank you. I won't feel. I need to print that, right? I need to print that and put it on my wall somewhere. Get that printed on metal.
He's done some solo stuff recently, Lejean has, and his vocals are just incredible.
His vocals are amazing.
I heard somewhere that he was a trained, I don't know if it was just church choir, but he's definitely got the soulful background that is just beautiful. And Morgan Rose is just an absolute animal.
He's a beast. That guy's an animal on the drums. He's an absolute animal. I love him. I love him to death. Love him to death. But yeah, that's one of the other reasons I love Sevendust so much.
From the Muppets, and I know
it's not quite like that.
Seeing him perform, like, he is as all over the place as Animal. Like, he is though. It's crazy. Like, and the fact that he also has a part singing in almost all their songs in some capacity. Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
off the chain. Off the chain. All right. So you want me? So somebody remind me of story time, right? Yeah, Megan's story. So I got a few, but I'll talk about the Skillet one. I'll give you the Sevendust one. So Skillet. At a different festival that shall not be named, I was doing interviews and got lucky enough to score an interview with John from Skillet. So I have all my stuff set up. He comes over and I introduce myself. Right away, I just knew he's like, you could just get that vibe. Such a nice guy, and I always do my little intro promos, like talk about, hey, hey, my name is Bernard Cana, blah, blah, blah. We're here at this festival on this day, right? So as I'm going through my intro, as I'm recording this, I said, here we are, here we are at so-and-so on May the 4th. And John looked over at me and I looked kind of at him because I kind of just sensed what he was going to say. And at the same time, we're like, may the 4th be with you. And I was just like, oh my God. And he started like, I just cracked up. I mean, I wasn't expecting it, but the moment he looked at me, I was like, it clicked. Like I knew what he was going to say. So I started laughing and I'm like, here I am with John Cooper from Skillet. And yeah. And he's like, yeah, may the 4th be with you. The 4th be with you too. And we started talking about for the next 10 minutes about Star Wars, comic books, movies, and anything else other than music.
To me, that's what makes the best interviews.
Right? That's what makes the best interviews. If it's like, anything else.
I know you are the musician and I know you are absolutely phenomenal on stage, But let me tell me more about you. Like, do you cut your own grass? Like, I mean, something random, right? Like, just scale it back.
Hilarious. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Well, but wait, there's more to this. Megan, in answer to your question, it was neither one of those. It was in 2019. It was before the second one you listed. So just so you can figure that out. I'm not going to say because I don't want to talk about, we said we wouldn't talk about other festivals. So
this is like Bruno. All right, we don't talk about Bruno. Surely everybody knows that reference.
No. Any case. So it's at some point, where we continued through the interview because at some point he was like, should we talk about music? I go, John, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's your interview. And he goes, all right, let's talk about you. So we go through the thing. And then at the time they were on a tour, I forgot who they were with, but I made a comment saying like, I remember here's this tour you're doing, but you're not coming anywhere near Orlando. And I'm really sad. And from off screen, I hear someone go, oh no, don't worry. That's on our list. Maybe like in second leg. And I go, what? And John starts laughing because it's his tour manager that was saying that to me. He was feeding me info earlier. He's like, don't worry, we got you. I'm like, okay, cool. So wait, and then it gets better. So no, Brian, it wasn't that one either. So fast forward to October of 2019. I'm at yet another festival. And I did one interview there with, I can't remember who it was from New Year's Day, Nikki from New Year's Day. He's their bassist. And as I step out of the tent, I go looking and a guy says, hey, could you help me with something? And I'm like, yeah, what do you need? He's like, do you happen to know any of these people on this list? And I'm looking, I'm like, no, unfortunately, I don't know. There are other media people. I was like, sorry, I don't know who they are. He's like, all right. He's like, I'm trying to make sure my guy gets his interview set up. And he looks at me, he goes, met you before, haven't I? And I was like, oh yeah. And I realized who he was. He was John Cooper's tour manager or Skillet's tour manager. I was like, yeah, we met a couple of months back at this place. And he's like, oh, that's right. So, we chit chat for a minute. And I said, I was like, John's here? And he's like, yeah, he's right over there doing an interview. So when John finished up his interview, he came back to his tour manager, like, do I got anyone else like today? And he's like, no, that's it. And he's like, really? He's like, okay. And I looked at him, I was like, hey, John. And he's like, hey, man, how's it going? And I go, I don't know if you remember me. He goes, oh, no, I remember you. May the 4th be with you.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I was like, do you know how many people like this guy must meet on like a regular day? And then from cool. May, June, July, August, September, October, 5 months later, and he remembered me. That blew
without
my mind.
Grim.
Blew my mind. Grim was around, and I don't remember if I was wearing him at the time. I probably was, but still, I mean, the fact I was like, holy crud. 5 months later, and he remembered me. That blew my mind. Completely blew my mind.
That's just
so yeah.
Awesome.
That was a very one with the Skillet. That was a good one. My Sevendust story. So this one's kind of the same vibe. We're talking about 2018. Let me think about this. No, it was 2018. Okay. I'm at yet again another festival. And I was doing 2 back-to-back. I was doing more interviews at one. I was photoing at the second. So I was doing my interviews and I had Sevendust on my list because Sevendust loves to talk to media and they're just so nice and whatever. And originally on my list, I was supposed to have John and Clint together. And I was like, okay, this will be cool. And as I'm waiting for them to show up, they're talking to another media group. One of the publicists who runs the media center at the festival comes over to me and he goes, John and Clint are a little tied up at the moment. And I think they're running long. And I go, okay. He goes, would you rather talk to Clint and Lejean instead? Yes. No offense, Clint and John, but yes, you could throw them my way. So they brought over Lejean and I'm sorry, Morgan and Lejean. So they brought over Morgan and Lejean, and we start chatting, and we're just like gabbing away at like about random, like we talk about the music stuff, of course, because right at that time they had All I See Is War had just come out or was just coming out, and then we talked about some stuff that they got going on, and Morgan was sharing some stories about being at Disney when he was there and how someone thought he was Coolio for some reason. Oh, it was hilarious. And Lejean, remember, like I have a ring that I wear. I don't have it on today, but it's a lion head ring. And like Lejean had seen it and he was like, that is like the coolest ring ever. And he's like pointing it at the camera and stuff. It was a fun interview. So fast forward then the next weekend, I'm there at this other festival and I'm waiting for an acoustic set that they're doing. It was like a secret acoustic with Stone Sour. And that was pretty cool, by the way. So as I'm waiting there, all of a sudden I see the guys from Sevendust start walking out from that area. So I'm thinking they must have just performed an acoustic set. And they're coming out. I'm like, hey guys, they're like, hey man, how you doing? You know, and they're just walking on by. I see Lejean, I go, hey Lejean, and he looks at me, he's like, hey brother, how's it going? And he smiles and walks off. And then Morgan's the last one out. I go, hey Morgan, and he goes, hey man, and he walks off. He literally got 5 feet and stopped. He turns around and looks at me. He comes back. What are you doing here? Because I was in another state at this point. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm covering the festival this weekend. And he's like, that's so cool. Crazy. You know, so we chit-chatted for a minute. He goes off. Now, fast forward about to the next year. I think it was 2019, next year. I'm at House of Blues covering an Alter Bridge show. And the publicist for Sevendust is the same publicist who covers Alter Bridge. He was in town. So we were going to meet up at the show. So we meet up and he tells the security guard by their VIP section, hey, let him in whenever he wants to come in. He's fine and clear. It was actually one of my friends who works House of Blues, so I wasn't too worried about it. So as we're hanging out in VIP, I noticed that Lejean and Morgan were both there. I was like, well, oh crud. I didn't expect these guys to be here. And, you know, Lejean sees me. He's like, hey, man, you know, comes over and says hello. And Morgan sees me. He's like, hey, brother, what are you doing here? I go, I live here. What are you talking about? You know, so we were laughing over that, you know, and they go and do their thing, you know, it's hanging out. I cover the show and whatever. A few weeks later, then this where it gets super crazy. A few weeks later, I'm at the Hard Rock Live, which is over at Universal Studios, covering Sebastian Bach. So I'm there, and with that venue, they have like these side areas where we could stand if we wanted to. Think of like you have the pit in the middle or like the floor in the middle. And then they have these 2 side areas where they usually let media hang out there. That's a little closer without having to be on the floor. So, you know, we're just hanging out there after we shoot like the first band, and we're hanging, and I'm just hanging around, and I see to my right a door open. And I remember that door leads like to the green rooms downstairs for the venue. The door opens, a bunch of people come walking out. Who comes walking out from there? Lejean and Morgan. And Lejean sees me and he goes, holy crap, what are you doing here? And Morgan sees me and he goes, dude, what are you doing here? And he comes over and he hugs me.
That's cool.
I'm like, one of my favorite bands of all time. And I get to kind of know these guys, that they recognize me by face. I'm like, this is nuts. And Vince was there too. And Vince is hanging out. He's like, you want a drink, buddy? I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. But I mean, and then like literally like Lejean, you know, Morgan, Vince and I just hung out the whole show and like chatted in between sets.
That's really awesome.
I mean, this is, if I cannot explain to you
the type of individuals that they are. There's, yeah, I mean, they're just so genuine.
They're so genuine.
So not nearly as fortunate as you, but I will say, this is when I lived in Maryland. They were playing at Rams Head Live up in Baltimore. And this was, it was probably sometimes 2006 to 2008, somewhere in that time frame. And I paid and bought one of their VIP passes to be able to do a meet and greet after the show and everything else. And now, I mean, these guys have just always been a top notch. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to see them when they come through. And they've just always been that way for me. So by then, I think it was the 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that time for me to see them. And so, you know, the security in this meet and greet process was very cut and dry. Let them sign your one thing, not more than that. Keep it moving, keep it moving. You know, it's getting late. They got to get on the road, whatever. And, you know, and I always just I thank everybody that I have an opportunity to meet, just because being on tour is grueling, right? It's a fun job, but it's still a job. So I get to Lejean and I'm like, you know, I'm a punk kid just losing my mind that I finally get to meet him. I'm like, dude, this is my X time finally seeing you, and to have an opportunity to meet you, like, you don't even know. And he looks at the security guard and said, get out of my way. This dude needs a hug. Like, and he just gave me the biggest bear hug and was so grateful that I took the time to come and see them again and continue to support. And man, that just, I swear that made the year. That has it just little things like that just stick with you, right? Like it was just awesome. Like
It is, yeah. It's the reason why I love them so much. They are so personable and so down to
yes.
earth. And I will tell you this, I know for not every artist is like that. Not, I mean, I hear complaining artists like, oh, that guy's a bleep, this guy's a, I was like, look, man, this is a job for them too. I get that. And some
Absolutely.
artists love being on the stage, but they're not people persons, and that's
Right.
okay. But for those that are and who are humbled enough to thank their fans so frequently and how much they love, getting to see the fans and the fans keep coming back, I appreciate them. There's so much more. And Sevendust is just one of those bands. And for any of you who's on watching, if you have never seen Sevendust, you have to. It is just a must require. Do not miss this set. Do not miss that show. You will never regret it. You will never regret it. They're so good. So good live.
Oh, here's another one for you from really twofold. Another two times of seeing Sevendust. One, I saw them open for Creed, which was
That's
just
a weird
incredible.
mix.
It was them, Creed, and this band called Stir. That's all I'm saying about that show. But just to see them open up for Creed, just enough said. Another time I saw them, this was in Virginia Beach. It was at a radio festival, and not the first time seeing them, but they were early in their career, and never forget this. I'm early in my concert going days as well, so like anything that happens at a concert, my pure little mind is just blown. Well, somebody decided they were going to stage dive during their set, and this is at an outdoor amphitheater, not so you've got you got the security row, you got the photographers, you got back here is where you've actually got where all these fans are. So of course, whoever it was that decided they were going to try to fly realized that their wings had not yet grown and therefore did not quite make it to the crowd. So immediately, Lejeune stopped the show. And, and this is a band, they would have been lucky had they had a full 30 minutes at that set. And they still stopped the show, made sure, and on the way out, everybody keep that dude in your prayers. Like he is hit hard. And you could tell it shook him up to be expected to get back to playing. And again, it was one of those moments of this dude understands, yes, he's got this job, but there are people on every side of this equation. And again, I mean, this is just one of those, this dude just gets it. He sees humanity, which is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely is. Absolutely. Yeah. So, but those are our stories we got to share. So sorry. I'm so super excited. I was waiting all day.
I'm not
to get on
sorry.
this call.
I've been busting at the seams all day for this one.
Yeah, just to talk about Sevendust, Skillet, and everything else that came through. It's
right.
This was a great 2 days of announcements. So I'm hoping that if we get some over the weekend, they're just as good. And we'll see what happens. So anyone from the comments watching got anything for us they wanted us to talk about, answer questions on before we call it an evening?
Sevendust show because he was there with me. So Thomas, what's up, brother? FM 99. Yep, you got it. Glad we have those memories to rock out to. Let's see, Aiden Lejeune had stopped the show last year. Oh yeah, Megan, we are with you. Come on, headliner.
That happened to me at the Tremonti Daughtry show. Someone up front collapsed during Tremonti's set, and they had he literally stopped everything.
Yeah.
And that was kind of scary because we couldn't see from where we were what was going on, and everyone's saying back up, headliner. I don't think they're a headliner. I don't think Sevendust is considered headliner for this one. But headliner, as in we get a headline. I've been pushing for a headliner, for a while, but we haven't gotten one yet. So
we'll just keep on asking. We'll keep on.
Let's keep asking. Did we talk about the reason why we think we haven't heard it yet? Of why we haven't gotten a headliner yet? I think I know why, but I don't know if I could really say. Let me just say, I've spoken to someone at Blue Ridge to explain some of the reasoning why we haven't seen a headline announcement yet. There's a very valid reason for it. I don't want to go into it because I don't want to say anything. But when they told me what it was, I was like, Okay, that makes perfect sense now. So just be patient. That's all I can give. So sorry. Like, I don't want to say something and get myself in trouble. So but I know that there is legitimately a valid reason why we haven't seen an announcement yet for one. So just be patient. We'll get there. We'll get there. What are we at? 41, right? 41 bands, 171, 130 to go. If I can do Blue Ridge math.
So one last time, Blue Ridge Rock Festival, BlueRidgeRockFest.com. It's where you're going to find your announcements. Their socials, you'll find their announcements on their Instagram. I would imagine their Twitter, Facebook page. Hang with us on the fan zone. The mods, the admins do a fantastic job over there. But September 8th through the 11th, you got 4 full days of rock and roll with a pre-party that Wednesday night, 3 club experiences during the course of the festival happening at Virginia International Raceway, and it's going to be absolutely huge.
And you forgot genre stages.
Genre stages, yes.
Yes, right. So we're going to have also 2 stages side by side. So it shouldn't, decrease in like the missing a band because of the timings. They'll just swap from one to the other because that's a very popular format for other festivals too. And then apparently from what 3 other stages that look like for the way that they were announced, that they'll be more genre formatted. So, we'll probably see all the heavy metals on one, maybe the alt rocks on another. And I don't know what the last one will be. We'll find out.
And see, I think you have a fantastic idea for a fan zone tent. I'd say head over to the fan zone, make sure that the admins and the mods know that we all want that. I think there's going to be a longer line to meet Todd than there would be to meet any of the artists. And we'll go from there.
I said, I wonder how much money it would cost me to see if I can get the photo pit on a stage.
So there you go.
I said, I don't think I have that much in my bank account. I think we need a GoFundMe for that if that's going to be the case.
Kevin has the best question of the night. So Kevin, thank you. He wants to know when we're going to go live again.
We don't know yet, Kevin. Normally what, Danny and I kind of wait and see what the announcements are like. Like we feel this format of every other day has worked well. If there are announcements over the weekend, we'll probably wait till Monday and then we'll cover 9, because it looks like I've been dropping about 3 every day. So if there's stuff on Saturday, Sunday, we'll probably wait till Monday and cover all 9 announcements on Monday, then go again live on Wednesday and Friday. That seemed to work so far. That's my guess.
But thank you.
The hard part has always been time. What time we go live. And I'm looking at you, Danny. So
time is all relative when you have kids and jobs and life, and we'll make it work. We'll make sure that the world knows. And Bernard will do another great job of recording and sharing after the fact. So
doing a terrible job of that. I need time in my day to get all those done. I'll get there. I'll get them all up eventually. I'll get there.
We're not without faults. All of us.
All of us. Ashley says, please start before 9:30. So she can make it. That's what she's saying.
I respect that. And God willing, we will make that so.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I like this 8 o'clock time frame. That works. That works well for me. But so we'll see. Maybe we'll try around 8, Kevin. Maybe we'll see if we can get it together. No, if I can get it together, we have a problem. I won't be as fun if I have it together. I won't be anywhere as animated if I was together. Oh, you want me a little loose and wild.
You had a good night's sleep? What?
What? No, that never exists. Yeah. So so anyway, so let me ask a quick question before we sign off for the night. So everyone that's still here, what band have you been most excited for that's been announced so far? Out of the 41 that have been announced, who has been the one that you're most excited for? I can tell you right now, out of the 41, now it's Sevendust. It was Ginger, but now it's Sevendust. What about you, Danny? Who's your one?
It's Sevendust, not just because it's any Sevendust set, but them playing Animosity and hits. So the idea of them having a good size set, then their acoustic set, it's Sevendust, hands down.
Let's see. So Megan says Amity and Ginger. I agree. Sharon says Sevendust. CJ says Ginger. Thomas says Killswitch. It's hard because I like all these bands, but Aiden says
There's a
Seven
lot of
Dust.
really good.
Yeah. Shell says Amity. Shell's also says Seven Dust.
Union Underground, Fear
Oh,
Factory.
Melindy says Union. Okay, I'm good with that. Christina says
I'm
Fear
good, yeah.
Factory and Kill Switch. Kevin says Seven Dust. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I respect all of those choices. I said Seven Dust. Yeah, I mean, I completely respect all those choices. It's interesting that Melindy says Union, because that's not one I wasn't sure. I mean, I like Union Underground. I love the fact that they're going to come to play. It's not the one that would make me think, that people would be most
oh my
excited.
God, I'm racing for this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say, second is Eskimo Callboy for me. I am that excited to see just how crazy that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them, but just it's like I'm not excited about it yet. I think I'll be more excited about it then, at the moment it's happening.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all it is. Like, yeah, I was like, this is cool. I like this ad. It's like, okay. So we'll see. The who what I thought, like, there's so many artists that are out there. Like, who's the artist I would love to see, but it's hard because it's an international artist. But they got Sabaton here before. So to me, I'm like, man, I would love, who I really would love to see at this festival, who I think fits the vibe of this rock and metal? Powerwolf.
Ooh.
Have you ever listened to their stuff?
Yes.
It's
yes,
very
yes.
speed metal, but it's just so solid rock. Oh,
it would fit.
I would love for them. I'd love for them to be there. But it's like, they're an international artist, so I don't know what's the feasibility. And I'm pretty sure the lineup is set, but you never know because people drop in and out at times.
They do.
Blue Ridge Math. last year's Blue Ridge Math was ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say. If you were keeping track of how many artists we had and how many kind of dropped out and came back in, or dropped out and were replaced by somebody else, I couldn't keep track anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you needed like 12 T-shirts to make sure you had the right lineup going. Because there's just so many.
And then you just layer it like you were editing a photo or something.
Yes, exactly. That's about it. But yeah, they would be great. Powerwolf would be awesome. Just saying, John, if you're watching or listening or something, Powerwolf, just saying. Any case. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you once again, everyone who did stay around and watch us through. We appreciate you 110%. We really do. And, we'll probably be back on Monday. I would say if we're coming back sooner, it's got to be an announcement that's like so
just over the top. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If it's like a major headliner, maybe we'll come back and talk about them early. But if not, we'll come back on Monday and we'll chat some more. Yeah, Bad Omens would be great if they come back. Yeah, I'd be good with that because I missed them last year. So that would be that'd be pretty cool if they came back this year. They have a new album out now.
Announced, man.
So, yeah.
Bad Omens was announced. So
wait, were they? Oh, did I? Oh God, there's my brain going away. Yeah.
Come on now.
Too many. How many? We're at the 40, and I completely forgot that Bad Omens is on there. Bad Omens. I'm sorry. That's bad on me. Bad on me. So now I am excited that they're going to be there. Now, hopefully, I can make their set. That's what it comes down to.
So we should probably end this tonight before we find ourselves in hot water.
Before I lose my mind anymore, because I'm
right.
See, not have my stuff together. If I had it together, then it wouldn't be as fun. So in any case, all right. Well, thank you everyone once again. Like I said, we'll try to plan for right now for Monday at 8. If something changes, we will immediately let everyone know. But once again, thank you for coming. Please, share this out too. I would love to see a consistently huge group of people coming to join the conversation on stuff. And we love to have you here. We love your comments. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to chat with you all. So thank you much. Danny, thank you once again. I appreciate you very much so.
Always a pleasure, man. And thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight.
Yep.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend, and we will probably see you on Monday. All right, take care, everyone.